opportunity for training, exchange. So very good morning, one and all. The vision of AICT Adult Academy is to empower in achieving goals of higher education such as access, equity, and quality. To envision this, Adult Academy provides a variety of opportunity for training and exchange of experience such as workshops, orientation, learning and communication, peer mentoring, and other faculty development programs. Today we have one such AICT sponsored FDP on robotic or robot operating system. It is given to Dr. Reshma Banu, Professor and Head, Department of ISC, GSSS Institute of Engineering and Technology for Women, Mysore. Robotics is the art of making robots, machines, and combining concepts for multiple engineering disciplines. The robot operating system is a set of software libraries and tools that help you to build a robot application, right from drivers to a state-of-art algorithm with powerful developer tools. The ROS has what you need for any kind of robotic projects. Nearly 65% of the world's robot will include ROS package by 2024. A study provides us the insight. ROS has many advantages such as multi-platform support, embedded system support, real execution, better resource handling. The FDP provides an insight about ROS, turtleism, packages for ROS, CAD design, autonomous navigation, and best practices in ROS. The FDP is designed to help faculty members of various disciplines to develop their knowledge and skills and provide real-time industry exposure dedicatedly delivered by trainers having rich industry experience in the field of industrial automation, robotics, and related technologies. Let us start the FDP by seeking the blessings of Founder Secretary, late Professor B.S. Pandit. I, Dr. Manishankar, the event coordinator of ADAL FDP and Associate Professor of Department of ISC, take this privilege to welcome you all to the FDP. First, I would like to welcome Dr. M. Jagannatha Shenoy, President GSSR Mysore. I welcome Srimati Vanajabi Pandit, Honorary Secretary GSSR Mysore. I welcome Sri R.K. Bharat Sir, Member and CEO GSSR Mysore. I welcome Srimati Anupama Pandit Madam, Administrative Officer GSSR Mysore. I welcome all the board members of GSSR. I welcome Dr. M. Shivakumar, Principal GSSS IITW. I welcome Dr. Reshma Banu, Adal FDP Coordinator, Professor and Head, Department of ISC, GSSS IITW.
Thank you,
I welcome, I welcome Dr. Harish Sahu, Scientist, SAG and DRDO of DRDO Delhi, who is a peer reviewer of the FDP. I welcome you, sir. I welcome all the HODs, staff members of GSSS IITW Mysore. Now it is my turn to introduce you the eminent resources persons of the FDP. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Manish Bali, Director UST. He has over 28 years of industry experience at various companies like NVIDIA Graphics, SGI, Tata LXI, currently working as Director handling Semiconductors Vertical and Head of AIML Center of Excellence UST. He has worked as Adjunct Professor in Institute where CS MTech and ML Intelligence System, and he is currently pursuing his PhD. He has several publications in international journals and has patents to his name. He is also member of Board of Studies in various engineering colleges, helping to bridge the industry and academia gap. Next, so we welcome you, sir. Next.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manishankar.
So next, we would like to welcome Mr. Pranshu Tople, Director and Co-founder, Rigbetel Labs LLP. He is a winner of 20 plus national as well as international robotic competition and hackathon, including Smart India Hackathon in 2019, Hardware Edition organized by Government of India and MHRD. He has published several papers in international journals and also a winner of Best Research Paper at International Conference on Smart Systems in 2018. He is an intern at Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, currently dedicated time to Rigbetel Labs as the head of operations, working with various national as well as international companies to build solutions in the sector of robotics, automation, augmented reality, virtual reality, with companies like Reliance Geo, NIIT, Apsara Energy, Research LLC, Black Eye Robotics, etc. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Shubha Nandi, co-founder and mentor at Rigbetel Labs LLP. He has also worked in intersection of software in robotics and also mentored several students and industry professionals under the ROS mentorship program at Rigbetel Labs. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Kaushik Balasundar. He is an MS graduate student at Carnegie Mellon University and an ex-autonomy engineer at Dubai Future Foundation. Mechanical engineer and master's candidate at CMU. Expert in ROS, computer vision, perception for autonomous system. Previously collaborated at robotic research candidate with RBB, CCPC, and CDPM at Indian Institute of Science Industry 4.0 Initiative and Dubai Future Lab for Autonomous Vehicles, currently working on affordable and standardized robotic solutions for education and research. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Vigneshwar Bhatt, Professor, Cultural Yoga and Sanskrit at Amrita University, who is an expert in yoga and cultural studies. He is a founder trustee of Samhita Trust and a project coordinator of Back in the Ring, a project between Norway and India. He has also presented many papers in international conference and journals, symposium, and also published several books. He has been invited as resource persons in various national and international forums related to yoga and cultural studies. He has more than 14 years of experience teaching Vedas and Sanskrit to students across the globe. He has got multiple funded projects from various government and reputed organizations, as well as he is serving as an editorial member for various journals. So we welcome you, sir. So I welcome all the participants who are present for the FDP. Now let us see the day-wise schedule of the FDP. So we can see today is the first introduction day. So first 9:30 to 11 will be the first session. After that, there will be a common inauguration by AICT Adal, New Delhi, which I would like request you all of you to join as well. Next, we have a fundamental introduction in ROS and applications of publishing a subscriber on Turtleism. So similarly, we have day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5 on various topics, which will be introduced, and we'll be giving you the detailed part of each session. Yeah. So thank you all for showing the interest towards this FDP and joining with us today. So today we are going to start with our first session on a robot operating system. So I request Mr. Manish Bali and team to start the session. Before that, I would like all of you to join for a group photo. Please turn on your video so that we can have a group photo. I request all the participants as well as resource persons and dignitaries to turn on the video for a So thank you all. So we'll start with the session. So I request Mr. Manish Bali and team to take forward the session and give us the insight about robotic operating system.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manishankar. Good morning, everyone. A very warm
Once,
welcome.
Yes,
once
we'll
it
have
is
a group photo, sir. Sorry to disturb. I request all the participants to on their video mode, if possible, so that we can have a group photo. Yes, sir. Manish, sir, please carry on. Thank you.
Sure. You can hear me all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Professor Manishankar, for that wonderful introduction. And at the outset, I would really like to thank the management at GSSIT Mysore for giving us this opportunity, and especially Dr. Reshma Banu, HOD ISC department, and Aisha madam for making this FDP a reality. Also, would like to thank Atal, New Delhi, for giving this opportunity to help hold this FDP during these times.
Thank you, sir.
Unprecedented times, I would say. When everyone is in the midst of Corona, and especially the colleges are facing a really difficult task to have the online sessions. Offline sessions actually, so doing it online. So I hope this FDP would give all of us a chance to learn. So what we have actually put together for this 5 days FDP, as Professor Shashi Kumar also actually showed, we have put together a team of industry experts, right from Pranshu Tople, as you all heard his brief bio. He's a director, co-founder at Rigbattal Labs. Shubham Nandi, also from Rigbattal Labs. Both are actually highly into hands-on into robotics from the industry. And we also have Kaushik Balsandar, who will be joining during the 4th and 5th day. Also, I have Pratik Bali, also as part of this FDP. He's the overall coordinator. He's the operations managers at the Brigade Group. So it's a jam-packed industry forum that has been put together for this workshop, because as you all know, robot operating system is new. It is fast catching up, being used extensively in a few areas, but then there is a huge surge in demand that we see that would come up down the line. So as Professor Shashi Kumar also mentioned, ROS is basically a set of libraries, set of software libraries and tools, which actually has been made complicated. But then once you have a structured way of teaching with the right kind of resources, it will actually make it very easy for everyone to basically learn this, right from the drivers to state-of-the-art algorithms that are actually used. That will help anyone to get into the robotics area, or build any projects, or also contribute towards robotic arms and related projects. Learning ROS is hard, we all know, but then, as I said, if it is structured in a way, and if you have the industry experts, and if we can have an interactive session going, I think it can be made much simpler. So what I would just like to briefly put across is the goals of the FDP, for giving us this opportunity from Dr. Reshma. The goals of this FDP are basically to structure ROS in a way that is very easy to follow. Be it a beginner, or it could be even faculty from interdisciplinary backgrounds. So we have structured it in a way that it is easy for all of you to follow. What we will also be going through is all the ROS core functionalities and concepts that you need to know, and this will be explained step by step by all these experts. And the other key thing is that we'll be going to the points, in the sense that we'll not be covering, complicated stuff, or I would say, useless stuff, which, basically takes time. But things that you need to know, and which will actually help you to catch up ROS in this 5 days FDP. And this will be accompanied by a full hands-on practice sessions. It's just not theory. So there will be hands-on practice sessions on ROS basics, the communication tools that are actually used, CAD tools that are used to build, any scalable application. So all these will be covered. So these are the overall 4 goals that we have actually thought together when we have, put together this, the FDP curriculum. So with that, I would really again like to thank the management and Dr. Reshma Banu and Aisha Madam for giving us this opportunity. Let's make this 5 day sessions interactive. Please feel free to raise your hands or ask queries so that you go back rich with this experience. And at the end of the 5th day, we will also have a short evaluation, which Dr. Reshma Banu will, let you all know. So with that, I will hand it over to Shubham, who will be starting the basic fundamentals, session today. So happy learning, and we'll be around for any other future queries that you may have. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Very good morning. Thank you, Manish sir. Thank you, Manish Shankar, for the introduction, for the warm-up. So I hope everyone is excited to learn. Before we get started, can I know how many of you have a Linux system setup? It can be a virtual machine. It can be a dual boot. Anyone in the crowd? Anyone who has already a Linux system setup? Okay, I can see Mahesh is there. Okay, why I'm asking this is because if we don't have a system setup, so we can do that first. So we'll first set up a basic Linux system, then we'll get introduction to it. Like I'll introduce you to the Linux environment and its basic commands. Okay. I can see a few people have it. Great. Okay. So with that, just a second, I'll share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Shubham.
Okay, cool. So first thing we'll try to do is set up a system, set up our Linux system for people who don't have it. So I have made a documentation over here. I will be sharing this link right now. Okay, I'll share this link in the chat. Coordinators, please try to pin this or keep this at the topmost, because this is a link that you guys can follow even after the session. It's like a cheat sheet I have made, right from Linux basics to commands to some basic Python code and to some other ROS references. Okay, so I want everyone to get access to this right now and open it up on a browser. Okay, just click on the link. It will redirect you to this site where you can access this information. Okay, I hope you have this up and running on your side. Now, what we're going to do, we will be installing Linux on a virtual machine. Okay, about Linux, about virtual machine, we can discuss while our system is being set up. So first thing I want you guys to do is, as it's written over here, download the preset virtual machine. Okay, so if you just click on this link, Okay, it will open up a Google Drive like this and just download this zip. Okay, so I can just click on this and click download. Okay, so people who don't have a Linux system set up, please download this. Okay, now and it's almost 3 to 4 GB, 4.6 GB file. So I think it will take some time to download, depending on your internet connection. So everyone who doesn't has a system, please start the download. Okay, and the second thing you need to download is this. So the second thing is the VMware Workstation Player. Okay, it's a free software. So you can just go down and click on this download now button. Okay, for Windows, and it will start your download. Okay, so please start the download for these two things. Okay, one is the preset virtual machine file, and one is the VMware Workstation. Okay, VMware Workstation Player. Kindly send the link. Vashish Verma, I didn't get your question. Which other link did you mean by? See, I've sent this link, right? So this is the Notion document link that I've shared on the chat. If you open, you'll get access to this. And if you click on this, you can get the preset virtual machine file. If you click on this, you will get the VMware Workstation Player file. Okay. Awesome. I hope that's solved. Yeah. Okay, now I guess everyone has set their system for download. It might take a couple of minutes. Now, since that's done, let's have a small introduction to Linux. Now, what is Linux? Linux is actually a OS. It's an operating system. Okay, it's similar to our Windows. It's similar to Mac, but it's an open source OS. Open source as in you can get the source code of this and you can manipulate as you want, right? So Linux is a very powerful system. It's a very powerful operating system. It's used almost everywhere, right? From your Android, is the base of your Android is also Linux, and all the servers that are running on your cloud, maybe any local server, majority of them run Linux. So Linux is by default a very powerful system. And second advantage, it's open source. The advantage that open source brings is a lot of people can contribute for the betterment of the software, right? Let's say you want a very specific feature for your specific need, you can get the code. Okay, you can modify it to your requirements, and you can get a fresh up and running system, very customized to your own needs. And that's a very big power of Linux. There are various distributions of Linux, or you can say flavors, just like an ice cream has multiple flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, etc. Similarly, this Linux OS has various distributions, has various flavors. So some of them to name is like Linux Kali, Ubuntu, then there is Arch Linux, etc. And everyone has their own advantages in certain fields. So to give you an example, Ubuntu is said to be a standardized distribution, whereas Kali Linux is mostly used in the ethical hacking space. Okay, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, the community came together and developed their own requirements, developed their own flavors whenever and what required, right? So that's the again power of open source. So what we are going to use Ubuntu. Okay, for ROS we'll use Ubuntu, And all of this is actually installed in the preset virtual machine. So as you saw, there are two things, right? So first one is a download file for the preset virtual machine image, which is done with all the installations that you might require. So all the Ubuntu is set up, basic Linux commands are set up, everything is done. And second thing that I told you to download is something called as VMware. Okay. Now what is VMware? VMware is a virtual system. It's like it creates like a container inside your existing OS. So let's say your existing OS is Windows, right? It will create a separate component, or it will create a separate container inside which your Linux environment can coexist. Now, the biggest advantage of this is you can use two systems at the very given time. You don't have to hamper your boot system. You don't have to hamper any of the existing stuff that's going on in your system. Okay, so you can separately run a system like Linux on top of your Windows. So it's a very powerful tool in that sense. Okay, so in the presentation as well, it's just the same steps that I have mentioned over here. Okay. Yep. So any doubts until now onto Linux, onto anything that we have been discussing? Yes, Gunjan Kumari, I can see you have a doubt. Hello. Okay, how many of you have used Linux prior to this? Anyone over here who has already used Linux? Okay, you've used Ubuntu. Okay. Okay, Pawan has also used it. Okay, few of the candidates have. Nice. Okay, also can I know what is the status on the download part? Have you guys finished it? Downloading the files, the two files? Okay, it's still downloading. Okay. So until then, I'll just give you some brief on how you can use this documentation. So at first, you can see there is something called a system setup, right? This will help you to set your system. Then comes the basic Linux command. So these are few Linux commands that you might require on a day-to-day basis. There are bunch of other Linux commands, by the way. Okay, these are just handful of those that you might require on a day-to-day basis, from navigating one project to another, when you're continuously working on a project, etc. Then you can see I have some basic Python code that will again jump into after this point of time. And I have some further references just in case you want to explore more in future. So I have how you can install ROS Melodic. I have how you can install Sublime. Sublime is a code editor. I have a tool called as Terminator. It's a very powerful Linux terminal tool. And then there are other dependencies and other tools that you might use in Melodic. Okay. So just a second. Yeah, so is it downloading done? On my side, it's almost done. What about you guys? Okay, I'll show you how VMware looks until that point of time. So when you open VMware, it looks something like this. Okay, this is the actual VMware Workstation Player, the main software. Okay, Okay, and as you can see, there is a first option where you can create a new virtual machine. Okay, so you can create a virtual machine from scratch as well. You can either open an existing virtual machine. So let's say if you any day want to create a virtual machine from scratch, how would you do that? So for that, you would need one another thing, that is something called as ISO image. So if I just go to Ubuntu 18 ISO image, I just search for this term. The very first link is the official Ubuntu site that says desktop image. But you guys don't have to do this because we have already set the systems. I'm just showing you just in case in future reference and as a additional information. Okay. So let's say you want to set up your own virtual machine system. What you can do, you can just click on create new virtual machine. You can download this and just run it. Okay. So in this way, you can create a basic virtual machine setup. But the good thing for you guys is we have already set up the system. So you just have to download these two things and then follow my instructions. Send the link. Just a second. Coordinators, I'll kindly repeat again. Could you? Is there a way? Can we pin this link so everybody has an access to it? Is there a way, Manishankar? Or if there is a way to circulate this, please take care of that as well. Because I guess since a lot of people would be requiring this link.
Sure, Shubham. I'll ask the professors to, mail it to all the participants.
Sure.
And if there is a possibility of pinning it, we'll also check that.
Thank you.
You can
Thank you so
proceed.
much.
Yeah.
Yes. So are we done? So I can see Nikhil is done with it. Okay, 2 minutes more. We'll give 2 minutes more. Okay. Until then, can I know how many of you have zero experience with any sort of programming language? Like have never tried a programming language? Okay. Okay. Acha, why I'm asking this is because this will help me understand the crowd and I can navigate through it accordingly. Okay. So there is no harm or shame attached to it. Don't be. Feel free. Okay. So until things are being downloaded, I'll quickly give a brief upon some basic concepts of programming languages. So a programming language is like a language that helps you communicate with systems. Okay, like let's say I'm speaking in English. English is a language to communicate with other people, right? You guys understand English, I understand English, hence we can communicate. Similarly, systems, it can be robots, it can be a mobile phone, applications, websites, anything. They understand certain language, right? But to communicate with them, we need to learn that language. And that language is any programming language. It can be C, C++, Java, Python, etc. Okay. Now, speaking about Python, Python is a very straightforward programming language. Now, why I say straightforward is because a lot of programming languages are pretty complex. Complex in the sense of human readability. Okay. Whereas Python is not that complex. Just let's have a look. Now, let's say I want to add two integers, right? You can clearly see over here, I have written an operation that will add two numbers or two entities, right? Let's say X and Y. Similarly, I can just write one single statement to subtract. Same goes for multiply and divide. So as I said, it is more easy from a human perspective to understand Python code because it's straightforward. But whereas if you take C++, Java, or any other language, it's not that comfortable. It's not that human readable. Okay, so that's about programming languages. Then there is this concept in programming languages called data types. Now, what are data types? Data types are very similar to, let's say, take some sort of vessel or a container. Okay. Let's say there is a container that can hold 1 liter of water. Let's say there is another container that can hold 2 liters of water. If you have a jar full of 2 liters of water, will you use the 1 liter jar container? No, right? Why? Because you know, after a point of time, the jar is going to overflow, right? Sorry, the water is going to overflow from the jar. Hence, you will use a 2-liter container. Basically, what you're trying to do is you are using appropriate vessel for the appropriate quantity, right? Similarly, there is this concept called data types. Data types are exactly like this. So let's say you're using whole numbers, okay, like 1, 2, 10, 100. These can be stored inside integers. Okay, there is this concept called as integers, data type called as integers, that has the capacity to hold these or to store these whole numbers, whole values. Let's say you're using decimal units like 24.3, 33.4, right? At that time, you would use something called as float. A float is a data type that's capable to store decimal integers, okay, decimal numbers, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the two main data types that I think one should know. There are many more, but for starters, these are more than enough. Okay, now there is this concept called as syntax. Syntax means a proper way to write. Just just like in any conversation or any language, there is grammar, right? So syntax is equals to grammar, you can say. Okay, where grammar is like a set of rules that everybody believes should be placed, right? When you're speaking, when you're writing. Similarly, a syntax is a set of rules or a method how you write a specific thing in a programming language. Okay. Then there is something called as functions. Okay. Now, what is a function? A function is basically a block of code or a pile of code that can be executed at one single call. Okay. Functions are nothing but group of codes or block of instructions that can be executed on one single call. So in Python, how would you create a function or how would you define a function is something like this. That is def, that says define, and then I can give a function name. So in this thing, the highlighted thing, add is a function. Okay, I hope this is visible. Yeah, add is the function name. Okay, and def is the syntax that we follow. So the whole syntax is this. Okay, the highlighted part. Def, then function name, and then parameters if any. Okay, so this is the syntax how we write it. Now def stands for defining a function. Okay, then you provide the function name, let's say add, then you provide parameters. Now what are parameters? Parameters are something that will help your function enhance its usability. So let's say we want to add 2 numbers, right? So if you want to add 2 numbers, we need to accept 2 numbers, right? Though those can be whole numbers, decimal numbers, anything, right? So let's say I need to accept 2 numbers and then I need to add it. So what we are saying in this statement is x and y are 2 parameters where we can store our numbers. Okay, that's the job of the parameters. It enhances the capabilities of your function, of your Python function. Now, this is the first statement, how you define a function, how you create a function. Now, let's see what happens inside a function. Inside a function, you can write code. Like I can also write that, let's say, I can also write something like, print, my name, like let's say, or let's say I can write hello, or something like that. So you can write anything in a function, like basically anything as in the code. Okay. Similarly, what we have written over here is return the addition operation for the two integers. Kindly zoom. Sure. Is this visible? Is it better? Okay, I think this should be better. If not, do let me know. Yeah. So I was saying that the statement represents that you have two numbers, right? X and Y. Now add those two numbers, right? So we are writing a return statement. A return statement is a return. The name itself, it's returning, right? So basically, it's like a request response. So I request you to just add these two numbers, and you, as a response, you pass it on the addition of those two numbers. Now that can be integer, float. I hope you guys remember what is integer and float, right? Those are data types. So your numbers can be in integers like 10, 12, 15, or float like 13.5, 14.5, etc. Okay. So what the statement is, it's saying that return x plus y. So let's say x is 2, y is 2, it's 4, right? 2 plus 2, 4. So it will return 4 as an answer, right? So the job of this add function is to add two numbers, okay? Numbers that are stored in X and Y. And that's a function. That's a function in Python. This is the syntax you write for Python. Now, there is another screen is not visible. I think you should just pin my screen. It must be there. Just check. If not, then I'll just try presenting again. Is it visible, Pranav? Visible? Okay, I think it should be now. Okay. Okay. So I was saying, yeah. So there is another concept called as compiler. Now, what is compilers? Compilers are like the gatekeepers of your code, or in another word, someone who rectifies how you have written the code. Okay, a compiler is like who will see your code, who will see, is the syntax right? Is the naming convention right? Is the logic right? Is there any mishap that you have written? Okay, is there any typo in terms of syntax? Okay, typo in terms of syntax. Is there anything like that? If not, it will execute the program successfully. If there is an error, it will throw up an error. And that's the job of a compiler. A compiler's job is to rectify and verify your code if that's written in the right format or not. Right? It's similar to security. It's similar to policemen. It's similar to airport security or any sort of security. What's their job? Their job is to check if things are going in smooth or not. If there is any threat or suspect or not, right? So compiler is someone similar who will just see that, okay, all the codes are written right or not, they should be in the right format or not, in the right syntax, etc., etc. That's a compiler. It's another concept. Okay. So there is something called as print statements. Now these print statements are really, really very useful. What do? They literally print out whatever you have written. So I'm saying print select operation, it will print select operations. Okay, like literally the word select operations. Okay, so why I say it's very useful is because at times you might have to debug your code and you might not understand which function is working, which loop is working, what things are happening around. So you can literally say whenever a thing is executed, just say print this thing is done. Let's say my add function is working, my subtract is not working. What I can say is once my addition operation is done, print addition done. Let's say after my subtraction is done, I'll print that subtraction is done. Right? So once you start playing around with it, once we start using it, it will make more sense. Okay, then there is this concept called as loops or functional loops. Now, what is that? A functional loop or a conditional loop is where you provide a condition and you loop around it. Okay, like let's say I give a code like to a what do you call it, obstacle avoidance robot. Okay, now what would be the loop and the condition? The condition can be if there is an object on the left, take a right. If there is a object on the right, take a left. If third condition can be if there is object in front of you, like you can't go forward, and take a reverse and then turn around. Right? So these are the three conditions. First condition is if there is an object on left, take a right. If there is an object on the right, take a left. If there is object or completely blocked from the front side, take a reverse. Right? These are the three conditions. So based on these three conditions, you can give certain actions. Like as I said, if the first condition is true that there is an object on the left, what is the action we are providing or we are telling it to do? We are telling it to go on the right hand side. If the second condition is true, that is if there is an object on the right hand side, move towards left hand side, right? Or take a left turn. So taking a left turn is an action that you say if the given condition is true. Okay. Now there are many types of this loop. There is something called as while loop. There is something called as do while loop. There is something called as for loop, if else, a lot of other things, right? So what we will see over here is one is while loop and second is if else loop. Okay. So firstly, you see something called as while true. So what we're saying that at any given point, this statement is true, right? At any given point, this statement is true. So what's the natural way to go about that? Okay, while true, that is at any given point, this is true. Then what's the action? The action is to take inputs from the user and store in this variable choice. Okay, to take inputs from the user and to store in this variable choice. Okay, so the syntax for the same is you say input and then you write, enter either 1, 2, 3 or 4. Right. So what we are saying to the user that please enter one of the choices, that is either add, subtract, multiply or divide. Now let's say the user says 1. So the value of choice is now 1. How? Because we had taken some input that is stored inside the variable choice. Now, before moving ahead, I think I should also explain what is a variable. A variable is again like a vessel. Okay, it's a vessel where you put in something. So let's say I have this bottle, right? So in this bottle, if I put water, I'll say the value or the storage inside this is water. Let's say there is juice. If I want to pour juice, I'll say this bottle will now contain juice. So similarly, we have or we can create these containers and we can store anything and everything we want. Okay, so let's say I create this container called choice, and inside that I'll store the user input. And then I can reuse this again and again and again. Like as you can see, we have reused it again. Like we have again put up a condition. Now this is an if loop, okay, or if condition, where I say if the value of choice is any of these, then execute these. What I say is if the value of choice is any of the above, that is either 1, 2, 3, or 4, if this thing is true, then execute the next two statements, which is obviously true because why? Because I said that the value of choice is 1. 1 as in the user input gave us 1. So 1 exists over here. Hence, this is true and it will go on, so on and so forth. So in this way, you can write conditional loops where you can provide a condition, and if that condition is true, you can give some actions. If that condition is false, you can give some actions. Okay, so these are some basic programming concepts. We'll dive deeper into this once our system is set up. Yeah, so what is the status? I hope everyone has downloaded it. Okay, I think everyone has downloaded. Now, open your virtual machine, that is virtual VMware Workstation Player. Okay. So you must have received a exe like this, right? So if I just go to download. Yeah, you must have received a VMware player.exe. Please double click on that and you can set up your virtual machine. Set up as in get this window. Okay, so it will just basically install, sorry, it will basically install and get you this window where we can further proceed on. Yes, so I request everyone to install VMware and open this window where it says you can create a new virtual machine, you can open a VMware or existing virtual machine. Kindly everyone please do this. Yes, guys, any doubts until now? Anything, it can be anything related to programming, related to Linux, related to the steps that I said. Okay, I hope things are clear. No doubts yet. Okay, great. Okay, so your exe file will look something like this. If you double click, just a second, yeah. So it will look something like this, where it says, welcome to the VMware setup. And please select the setup wizard. So it will give you like this, then just click on next. So I already have a system up and running. So I guess it's, yeah. So you can just click on next, accept the licenses, next, and select the location where you want to install and just click on next and it will install. Okay, after installation, just search for VMware. Just press your Windows key and search VMware, and you would get this window that I'm speaking about. This. Okay. So I want everyone to open their VMware player. Okay. Open your VMware player. Once you do that, just follow these instructions that says choose an option called as open virtual machine. That is this. Okay. Now, what you need to navigate is where you have downloaded the first file, that is this. So remember, you have downloaded two files. One is the preset image file, one is preset VMware image file, and second is the player. So the player is done. We have installed the player, it's up and running. Now the second thing is navigate to the file where you have installed the image. Okay. So in my case, just a second, yeah. So in my case, it's in documents, and if I just search for, yeah, so just go to click on, oh, so before that, wait, before that, you guys need to also extract it. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so this is my ttb vm.zip. Just right click and say extract to ttb vm. So what it will do, it will create a folder called ttb vm. Okay, and it will extract over here itself. So see, there is a folder called ttb-vm where we are extracting this. So first extract that. First extract the downloaded virtual machine setup, virtual machine image setup that we have provided. Okay. Now, if you go inside this, there are three files, right? These three files. So what I'll do, I'll open my player, virtual machine player. I'll click on open virtual machine, and then I will navigate into the TTB folder, and I'll select the .ovf file. I'll select the .ovf file, that is this one. So I want everyone to please follow this. I'll show that once again. First thing, you need to extract the downloaded zip file. Okay, you need to extract the downloaded zip file. Then click on open virtual machine. Okay, this option, second option, open virtual machine. Clicking on this, you then need to navigate to the extracted folder, that is ttb-vm, and then you can select this file called as tortoisebot labs, tortoisebot by Rigbital Labs .ovf. Okay, the file extension is .ovf. Please click on that and say open. Okay. So you can then provide a path. Okay. And it will get the setup up and running. Can also follow these instructions. Okay, these are the same as I said. Open virtual machine, locate the OVM file, and just click on install or click on import. Provide a name, provide a location, and done. Yes, everyone, please do this and let me know if you have any doubts. Now, once everything is set up, you will see on the left-hand side the VM, the name that you have provided. So for me, it's VM test, TTB VM test. Okay. And if I just click on play virtual machine, it will start the boot process. There you go. So the username and password is right over here. So the username is Rebooted Labs, which it is, and the password is .iword. So just copy this and paste it over here. If there's no option like me, you can just type it out.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please guide me?
Yeah.
My VMware what got installed. Now it is asking to enter a license key to allow the commercial use. What to do?
Ma'am, did you install a player or workstation?
Workstation.
Okay, can you please share your screen so I can guide you?
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah.
So can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Now?
Yeah. Now I can. Now I
So
can.
this is what I'm getting here. Like enter the license keys to allow. Oh, what to do?
Just say just a second. The first it's a bit new. Okay, what's the second option over there?
It's a buy a commercial use license.
No. There are two options, bullet points. There are two bullets, right?
Yeah, one is the use VMware Workstation 16 for free for non-commercial use.
Yes, exactly. And
So I
press
go with the free one, right?
yes, that's the first thing. Yeah, and press continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Finish. That's it.
yeah, that's it.
And
There you go. Now
what is the
you-
setting we have to do here?
Yeah, just click on open.
Open virtual machine.
Wait.
Right?
Before that, did you extract the downloaded zip?
No, I downloaded directly. Not
No,
extra.
not this. The first link.
Which one? This one?
Can you go back to the link that says Linux and Python basics?
This one or your
Like,
material?
yeah, my link. Yeah, and now click on the first one. First. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you download this? I'm asking.
No, not yet.
Okay, you need to download this, and then you can create a VM.
Okay. So
Okay.
once I do it, if I have any doubt, I'll just get back.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else is facing any issues? Any problems? Any doubts? Anything? Okay. If it's asking for any update, just do remind me later. Yes, guys. Any doubts until now? There are no doubts, then we can move ahead. So I would suggest another thing to do is install this. So just click on this link, and supposedly this will take you to the site where you just have to copy paste this. What this will do, just copy this line and paste it over here. Ask for the password. Okay. And doing so will basically just install Sublime Text. What is Sublime Text? Sublime Text is a code editor. It's a code editor tool that will help you write code in your virtual machine. Or you can just use the basic existing code editors as well. Okay. People are saying screen not shared. Is it visible, Ravi? Okay. Yes, so it might take some time. As I said, it's a bit with file, but yeah, depending on your internet connection, it will take certain time. Okay, just give me a second. I guess I need to check my internet connection. Just a second.
So kindly let us know about the stepwise right now because people are lagging just because of the size of that file. Can you write down somewhere in Notepad?
Yes, so these steps are mentioned over here as well. If you go over here, right on the documentation that I've shared, it's simple. You just have to click on Open Virtual Machine, provide the path or select the OVF file, and then just click on provide a name and then import. That's it, as it's written over here. All the downloaded files should be in the same directory, and then these are the username and password. Okay. So I hope this is pretty simple, or at least a bit straightforwardly mentioned over here so you guys can follow. But in spite of this, if you have any issues, I can help you out. So do let me know. Okay, so yeah, so what we're doing is we are installing Sublime Text. Okay, so as I said, copy the first line, done. Then just copy the second line and paste it over here. We are doing basic copy pasting. It's already there. We just need to execute. Okay, and then we provide sudo apt update. Now I'll tell you what is sudo. You must be seeing this a lot of places, right? Sudo is a keyword when you want to provide your system an administrative access. Okay, sudo is a keyword when you want to provide your system an administrative access. Now you would say, why do we require that? So for things like installing a set of dependencies, installing certain softwares, it's a task that needs to be verified by the admin. Now, since you're the admin of your machine, you need to provide the sudo keyword. And whenever or every new terminal you open and you pass in the sudo keyword, it will ask you for the password. Okay, and you have to type out the password. And in Linux, the thing is, when you type out the password, you can't see the password. Why? That's the security of Linux. So to give you an example, let me just open a new terminal. I can just click on this. This will open a new terminal. Okay, and I'll just type out sudo and press enter, or let's say sudo su and press enter. Now what does it say? It say that, hey, please provide the password for the username Rigbeetle Labs. And the password is tortoisebot, right? So even though I am typing, I won't be able to see the password. So if I type tortoisebot, okay, I have typed the password, but there is no visual feedback, right? There is no visual feedback for the same. And that's the security feature. One of the many security features of Linux is you can't see the password or even the dot 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 or encrypted thing that we see on login forms and stuff like that. So if I press enter, it says password accepted and moves on, right? So don't be scared that your keyboard is not working or it's not detecting your keyboard. It's just the functionality of Linux. If you type a password within your terminal, you can't see that. Okay, I hope things are clear until now. Okay, and then the next command is just to install, right? So I'll just paste this. Now see, I've opened a new terminal. So whenever I open a new terminal and I pass the keyword sudo, every single time it will ask me for my password. So I'll type it out. Okay, and it will now download Sublime Text. So to launch Sublime Text from your editor itself, you can do subl. Subl is the keyword for launching Sublime. Okay, and this is your Sublime Text. This was your terminal. I can close this, and this is your code editor. Okay. Okay, now share the link. Yes, just a second, I'll reshare the link. Okay, now let's deal with the Linux basics command, okay, from a practical point of view. So open up a terminal, right? Or you can use this 9 dots to just search for terminal or terminator. So terminator is a tool, as I mentioned earlier. It helps you get multiple terminals at the same time, and this terminal is a default basic terminal that comes with Ubuntu. But what we are going to use is a terminator. Okay. Now, when you open a terminal, the first thing you see is your username, okay, provided with a tilde and a dollar symbol. I hope this is visible, right? So your username, a tilde and a dollar symbol. So what is tilde? Tilde represents home. Tilde means home directory. Now, where can you find this tilde on your keyboard? It's just below your escape key. Okay, it's just below your escape key. So tilde represents home. So anything prior to the dollar symbol, it's like a prefix to the dollar symbol, represents the current location. Okay, so as I said, tilde means home, which means I am currently in my home directory. Okay, let's say I want to go inside my desktop. I'll do cd desktop, enter. Now what happened? Home, inside home, there is something called desktop. So my current location right now is desktop. Right? Now, how did I do this? Let's get into that. Okay. So there is a command called as ls. Okay, if I press ls, if I type ls and press enter, it will list down all the elements or all the folders and files present in that directory. Also, directory is equivalent to folder or synonym for folder. Okay, folder, directory, one and the same thing. So if you type ls and press enter, it will prompt you with all the elements or all the directories and all the folders, all the files present in that specific directory. So if I do ls again, it will give me a prompt that, look, these are the directories and these are the files present in this directory. In which directory? In my home directory. Let's say I want to navigate into documents. Okay, I want to go inside my documents directory. For that, we have a command called cd. What cd stands for is change directory. Okay, if I do cd and provide the if the directory name and press enter, it will take me inside that directory. So what I did, cd space directory name and enter. And now I'm inside my documents folder. So if I do ls over here, now since this is an empty folder, we can't see anything, right? So let's navigate outside our documents folder. So how to go one step previous to it? You can do cd, that is change directory, space dot dot. Previous to this, what it was? It was cd and the directory name. Now, if you want to navigate outside of this or go one directory previous to it, you do cd space dot dot, press enter, and there you go. You are now back to your home directory. If I do ls, see, I can see all of this. Okay, let's say I want to navigate in my desktop. I'll do cd desktop, enter. And if I do ls, that's empty as well. So let's navigate into our Catkin workspace where we have some elements, so I can show you. So let's say cd Catkin workspace, enter. And now if I do ls, I have 3 other directories. Let's say I want to go inside src. So I'll do cd src, enter. I'll do ls again, so I can list all the elements present in my directory. Now I have 2 things. One is tortoisebot directory. One is a file called cmxs.txt. Let's go inside tortoisebot directory. I'll do cd tortoisebot directory, enter. If I do ls again, it will give me bunch of elements that it has. Now you must be seeing the screen is very cluttered, right? I just want to clear the screen. So there are 2 options to this. Either you can use the keyword clear and press enter. This will clear everything. Or let's say I do ls again, and let's say I want to clear this. The shortcut to this is Control L. So 2 things to clear your window. Either the clear keyword itself or the shortcut Control plus L. So any doubts until now? We saw the keyword ls that helped us to list all the elements from a directory. We used the keyword cd, that stands for change directory, right? Cd stands for change directory. So we need to, or we want to get inside a directory, we would specify cd and then the directory name. If we want to navigate back out of it, or we want to navigate one directory previous to it, we'll do cd space dot dot. So any doubts on this? Anything? Okay, I hope things are good. Guys, if you have any doubts. Yeah, so the shortcut is Control plus L. Okay, the shortcut to clear your screen is Control, your Control key on your keyboard, and the letter L. Okay. Okay. So until now, we saw how to navigate from one directory to other. We saw how to list all the elements. Now we'll see how to create a directory. Yes, you heard me right. We'll see how to create a directory. So to create a directory, there is this keyword called, wait, before that, I'll show you what are the existing elements in my directory. So I'm back in my home folder, and these are the folders and files in
Mr.
my,
Shubham, can you please guide me once again?
yeah.
I just extracted the file.
Okay.
Shall I
Now,
share the window once?
yeah, please.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I am. Yeah, now click
So
on,
this is the extracted file.
ma'am, have you, I don't think so you have extracted it. You have just double clicked and opened it.
This one,
So
right?
yeah, listen to me. No. Hold on. Can you see the top left, second icon from top left that says extract to?
Yeah.
I would suggest, click, just for now, just click on OK. The window in front of you, click on OK.
One second. I'm getting an error here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Please click on OK.
Okay.
Yeah. And now click on the extract to option from top left second, blue color. Yeah, exactly. Now, okay. Now please select desktop over there. Can you select desktop?
Extra.
Desktop.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And please click OK. Okay, perfect. Now close this window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now click on open virtual machine, second option.
In this. Okay.
Yeah. Now navigate to your desktop. Now, can you please search for TTB?
Yeah, I got here tortoise code file. Correct?
.ovf, right? It's written
Yes.
OVF. But there should be, okay, fine.
The
Just
same file.
But there's just one file. Just click on OK. I think it will give you an error.
I got only one.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to actually extract the whole folder. So could you please navigate again to the downloaded directory where you have downloaded?
I'll just do it and again I'll get back to you. I'm sorry.
No.
to disturb you.
It will just take a few minutes. So please share your screen. Yeah. Open the directory where you have downloaded. Okay. Can you just search for the TTV zip? Just search for TTV zip.
Yeah.
Now just right click on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is an option called as no. Wait. There is an option called as extract TTB VM.
Okay.
Yeah, that option. Yes. Please click on that. Yeah. Okay, let it happen. Wait. It'll take a few minutes. So what this will do, this will create a new folder called TTB VM, the last folder that you can see. Okay, and that folder will have all the files.
Okay.
Okay, so it will take a couple of minutes.
Just getting a big disturbance again. I'll just share my screen back.
Sure.
Just 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Pranav. I guess the session has been recorded, and you can contact the coordinators for that. They will provide you with the recordings. Okay, guys. Any doubts until now? Because we saw the CD keyword that helps us navigate in and out of a directory. We saw the ls command, right? That helped us list out the directories. Now let's see another command called as mkdir. That says make a directory. Okay. This resembles to make a directory. The base command is mkdir. Then we provide a name. So let's say this will be testdir. Okay, the directory name is testdir. So click enter, and if I do ls, I can see a new directory is being created over here, right? That says test directory. Okay. So this is the new directory, test directory that we just created. Now let's navigate inside this. For that, we'll do cd test directory, enter. If I do ls again, it's empty. Why? Because this is the new directory we just created. Now we saw how to create a directory. Similarly, let's see how to create a file. Okay, we'll do touch. Touch is the command for a file. Okay, and mkdir is the command to create a directory. Remember that. Touch is the command to create a new file. So if I do test file, press enter, you can see I have created a new file. Mr. Ravi, yes, workstation 16 player is the file to download. So I have also shared this documentation. Okay, so if you just click on this first link, it will download you the setup virtual machine, okay, that we have provided. Second is it will download you the VMware workstation, and then you can just follow these instructions to get it up and running. Okay, so you have downloaded the first one, great. Please download the second one. Yes, I guess a lot of people are yet to set up their systems. So let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, so these were some basic commands where you can create a directory, where you can create a file. Okay, in this way you can also create a Python file. So let's say touch, and then I'll do script.py, and if I do ls, I can see the script as well. Okay, and by the way, all these commands are mentioned over here, guys. Okay, just in case you want to refer it again, you can follow this link. Okay, you can get this link from the Google Meet chat, and I guess everybody has shared. I mean, the coordinators have shared over via email as well. Okay, and yeah, that's it. Now I guess we have another session or inauguration session at 11, right? Is any of the coordinators over here? Prateek or someone from the coordinating team, are you guys here?
Yeah, Shubham, we're here. We'll just wait for an intimation from the team.
Okay. So since you guys haven't received any intimation, should I proceed or we are taking a halt right now?
I think there will be a link shared with all attendees on their own WhatsApps. There might be another link for that. Maybe till then you could continue, Shubham. I will let you know accordingly.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
Okay, so guys, we saw how to create a directory, that is mkdir, the keyword, right? That helps us creating a new directory. We saw how to create a file. Okay, touch is the command how we can create a file. We can also create a script similarly. Now, there is one another thing. Let's say you're working on a hardware, okay? And at times when you're working on a real robot, what happens is every single time you won't have access to keyboard and screens, etc. Okay, you might have a remote access to your robot from your laptop or your computer, right? So let's say you're remotely connected with your robot. Now you want to edit something in your robot. You want to edit some code that's present on your robot, on your robot's memory, on your robot's processor. How would you do that? For that, you would require a screen, right? But since you're connected remotely, you just have a terminal access. So at times you can use a tool called as Nano. Okay, what is Nano? Nano is a command line tool. Nano is a command line tool that helps you act as a code editor or a text editor. So Nano is a command line text editor. So if I press Nano and let's say I do script.py, this opens. Yes,
ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೂ reply ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
Yep. So this opens up. What is this? This is just a text editor. So I can basically import certain libraries. I can like write a print statement that we saw earlier, like let's say hello world, right? And I can save this. So if I press Control X, it will give me a prompt that do you want to save this file? So I'll press Y. That is yes, I do want to save it. And then I'll press enter. Now, if I run this, that is, I'll just type Python and the script name. Okay, I made a typo over there. Python and the script name. There it is. So in this way, you can also edit your scripts without leaving your terminal. Okay. And yeah, as I said earlier as well, all the commands are explained over here. You can refer this again and again if you stuck somewhere. Yes, any doubts?
Shubham, I think the link has been shared. We could head out and maybe continue the next session.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you guys.